How about that?
Amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely amazing.
So the solution to this was not Alt F4, but F5. Close
Ah,
enough.
Oh, we should
Oh,
have known.
that's genius.
It was so
trying to
obvious.
get
200
the
IQ.
all-powerful F5.
Yeah, close enough. So I guess whenever you guys are ready, I can give you a count up.
I'm all
Alright.
good.
Um, yeah, I'm ready when you are.
All right, then I'd say we start in five, four, three, two, one, go. Good luck.
Alright, so welcome everyone to Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion Double Bingo. My name is OboOz22, and I'm joined by Pink Boomerang. How's it going?
I'm doing great today. Are you ready for some amazing double line bingo?
Oh, yes. So in case you don't know what Splatoon 2 is, it's a third-person shooter. This is the DLC story. Um, Basically involves a bunch of challenges, and we're just going to be going around and completing each task that the bingo board demands. And Splatoon just kind of involves, inking things. Everyone's the enemy, including the floor, so you gotta paint it. We use all bunch of weapons, fight devious enemies, and do really cool stuff. Splatoon 2 is a really cool game to speedrun, very underrated in our opinions. That's why we love it. So we're starting off with just the simple tutorial. Not much going on here yet, but we'll get into some cutscenes and then we'll get into the challenges. Do you want to explain the story, the amazing lore of this game?
The amazing lore, yes. So, we have plunged into this subway station and we are lost and we're trying to get out. And unfortunately, our only ticket to get out is by completing a bunch of challenges and returning a bunch of parts to a specific machine. No spoilers here. To a telephone, and he's going to try and get us out to the promised land. And we just have to go around this metro station, completing as many challenges as we can to get these special parts.
Yep, they're called Thangs, not Things.
Yes, it must be Thangs.
Yeah. So usually in a normal any percent speedrun, we take the shortest path to get to all four things, we we basically just kind of end the game. Not gonna really spoil the ending, but we're not gonna see the ending. We're just gonna kind of go around the subway system, completing these challenges. We're doing double bingo because it's just kind of the sweet spot. Single bingo is just a little too short. Triple and lockout are a bit too long, so double bingo is just right in the middle. It's a good enough length for a speed run, so that's why we chose double. And usually these boards can range from pretty easy to, oh my gosh, why hard. Um, so we usually, as you may have heard, we've called these challenges in a way, and from what these demand, they can actually be challenges. Some of these tasks in the subway system are infamously hard, and a lot of them are usually what the bingo card demands. So prepare to see some top-notch gameplay from both of us.
Yeah, so there's about 80 levels in the Octo expansion here in Splatoon 2, and usually if we're doing double line bingo, we'll end up going through about half of the levels. So we're gonna see a good chunk of them here today.
So, a question right here. How much RNG is in those levels? Is it like a huge amount, so you don't know when you're going to bingo, you don't know what is going to happen? Or can you kind of predict what is going to happen?
Well, Splatoon all the Splatoon games have a very famous history when it comes to RNG. Technically speaking, there always is some sort of RNG. For example, for many of the weapons, we have something called shot RNG. A lot of the paint shots that kind of spread everywhere are RNG. So if you try to shoot something, if you have like a weapon that has a more of a weapons kind of have different radiuses for like how spread they shoot. So if you're trying to like shoot a switch or shoot an enemy, you could get really unlucky and not completely shoot it all the time. It's all weapons have that sort of RNG spread. But it's not too of a big deal. We speedrunners in Splatoon have gotten pretty used to this aspect. So, I mean, that's usually always happening. But there's not usually big amounts of RNG in Splatoon games. Not in the Octo expansion. We're not going to see too much big amounts of RNG.
So it's not like a Mario Party kind of game. You can
No.
actually kind of predict what you're doing and
Yeah.
what you're going to expect from this run or from this bingo.
Usually, I mean, the most RNG that we worry about, if anything, is the bingo card, really. But of course, that's... yeah.
I guess that's always the case with every single game.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But it's good to know, so you can kind of predict you're going through the story, I guess. Because
Yeah.
I don't know the game, like I'm completely new to this.
There's a bit of a story. We're not going to be, like, going all the way through it, because...
Yeah, no, that'd take way too long.
Yeah. It's not like Mario 64, where the goal is to complete everything and then go fight Bowser, the final boss. This, we finish when we complete the two bingos. Because to do an any percent run, usually after we finish the subway station, then we have about like 20 more minutes of gameplay in the end game.
Plus, 10 minutes of cutscenes.
Yeah. So we decided.
You cannot skip cutscenes.
Yes, we cannot skip
You
cutscenes.
can skip cutscenes if you've already seen them, but we have to start from a new file, so we can't do that.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. So you always have to start from a new file in this bingo.
Correct.
Yes. And we have two big first choices to make at the very start of the run. We can either choose to go left side or right side. Basically, once we start off and we beat the first tutorial level, you might want to call it, we can either go left or right, and both sides of the map have very different things on them. Left side generally has more stuff, though, but we have balanced the bingo card to make it so there are more things that we can do on the right to make it more viable. But generally, one of the bigger decisions is if we're going to stay on the left side mainly or the right side. But usually for the first 20 minutes or so, we'll just stick to doing the any percent route because that gets us a lot of the stuff that we need along the way anyway.
Yeah, the game is pretty linear at the beginning, so you usually find us playing the same levels for the first part, and then we'll start just kind of going our own pathways.
So you're pretty much just choosing to do another route when it comes to doing those tutorial kind of stages or the stages you have to do. But then you're going to do whatever required on the bingo, or are you going to do or you have to do the same stages and then just continue. I don't know how new game in this game works. If you have a little bit of space to do something else than the other person does.
Oh yeah, it's very flexible. We'll see a lot of people do a lot of different things, so it's really just dependent on what the runner wants to do.
Yeah, and as we do levels, the map of the subway system kind of starts to unravel itself. But if we do want to get somewhere, like in a particular spot enough, we have to get there first. We can't just like skip over to a certain level. We have to like make our way there. So like we had to make complete a couple levels that we don't need in order to get a level that we obviously do need to get to.
Yeah, I guess that's the curse of a new game file.
Yeah.
It would always be like that in every game. Take a couple of different routes, and it depends on runner and what goals you are going for like the double big in your case.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna see some different gameplay across the run, I'd say.
Absolutely.
Something else to note, across all the missions, some of them have multiple weapons to be used, which is why we'll see on the bingo card here we have like a lot of cards like just beat 3 levels with Charger, beat 5 levels with Splatling, so there are a lot of levels that we can just do with basically whatever we want. Some levels have some types of weapons, other levels have others, right? So that all kind of adds into what we want to really go for, and also your knowledge of the map and like knowing where, okay, maybe I gotta know where the data point levels are because I have to go complete those, or maybe I want to know where the balloon pop levels are, so you have to go do those, right?
Yeah, knowing the map is key.
Is the map ever going to change, or is it like level dependent? So if you choose like a mission or something like that, is it ever going to be the same map, or is it like RFP? What kind of
the map is always the same.
Yeah, the map doesn't change.
So you can kind of plan ahead if you have like a certain goal, or if you want to go a certain route, you can know. All right, I have this and this map. Go this and this way, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, knowing the map is and where everything is very key.
So since you have really tight estimates, this like with 1 hour 40, that's for me at least from a speedrunning perspective. There's kind of a really tight goal to get like 2 bingos. How's it for any percent in this game? Like what determines any percent, for example? Is it going to be like story mode percent, or do you have to do something different?
Any percent is
that.
Yeah, any percent is just beating the main story. And there's 80 levels total. In any percent, I believe you only complete like, what was it, 18?
Yeah, something like that, 18 or 19.
Yeah, I think it was 19. Yeah, you only complete about 19 levels total before you get the 4 things and then go into the end game.
So
and the end game is
kind of short, I guess.
Yeah, the world record is 1:08:23.
Although the much better category is obviously all missions, where we do all of the missions.
Yes,
and we've actually seen some improvements in that category very recently. It's now a 254, right?
Yep.
That's not too far off from any percent. It's like 1.5 hours plus.
Yeah.
Normally you have like these any percent categories which are super short. Then you have like the 100% categories which are like 3 hours longer. So what determines 100% for this game?
So that's
100% is beating every level with every weapon on every stage. So we can like all missions just does one weapon on every level, but for the levels that you can choose between 3, you have to do the same stage 3 times with a different weapon, and you have to do that for every stage, and that takes a little over 6 hours.
Oh. So maybe you can also answer why is there not like a new game plus, or maybe there is a new game plus for this game.
So we do have a new game plus for the hero mode portion of this, but not Octo expansion. And the hero mode is just going through like just the levels, and we have upgraded weapons, so it goes by a lot faster than it normally would in regular any percent for hero mode. But we have not gotten a new game plus for Octo expansion, unfortunately, which would cut down a lot of time. I think, was it Boom Noise that did a new game plus for Octo expansion and he got like 55 minutes?
A new game
Something
plus?
like that.
Like,
Well, he was experimenting with like a new game plus for OE. He got like 55 minutes, I think. If I'm not mistaken.
I don't know if it was Boom Noise or not.
It might have been someone else.
So what do you think? How much time would it save over like a new game file? Would it make a huge difference, or would you say, you know, it's like maybe 30 minutes on a 100% file, or you know, what are your thoughts on that? Even if you don't have any person.
It really only is worth it on any percent because like the time save is just that much bigger where any percent just becomes more convenient to run. But for like all missions or 100%, there's really no point. Like you might as well just do it from a new file. It just makes more sense.
Yeah, I guess 100% makes a lot of sense for, you know, a new game file. But like any percent or like, you know, new game plus any percent would make maybe more sense if you have like better weapons upgrade, you know, that kind of stuff. I don't know how it is in that game because I never played Splatoon 2 by myself. But I don't know how much of an impact it would make on the 80% part in general.
I mean, I'd say if you're... There's really not... When it comes to gameplay inside the levels, there's really no difference between New Game Plus and any percent because each level is going to stay the same. Like, I know that's usually true for a lot of games, but in the, like, for example, the hero mode, NG Plus, all the levels and gameplay are actually a lot different because you basically have like a lot, you know, upgraded weapons, you know, you have a lot better supplies, so usually the gameplay goes a lot different in that story mode. But when it comes to Octo expansion, every level is going to be exactly the same, no matter if you completed it or not. So that's why the only thing that would really be different would just be kind of the route. Because since every level wouldn't be unlocked, you can just travel right to the level that you need to go to. So that's why it would be shorter. But we do any percent just because it's just kind of a lot more authentic and just kind of like, you know, exploring and try to traverse the map and trying to find, like, you know, the quickest pass.
And if we really do need a break, then we do have the cutscenes to rely on, even though it is not that long of a run.
Yeah. Oh wow, I can't believe I did that.
I choose to use my breaks playing Tetris, so...
Yeah.
You said like you want to choose your breaks to play Tetris. So are there like cutscenes that much that you can actually play another game, or like what determines you can do something else when you know speedrunning this game?
In any percent, there's like towards the end there's a 9-minute cutscene. Yeah, it's about 9 minutes long.
8 or 9 minutes.
No, I mean that's quite a lot.
Yeah.
I mean it's cutscenes. That is quite huge, I would say. I don't know from this game personally, but I know it from other games. Like I used to speedrun Jet Set Radio Future, which has like I think like 50 minutes total cutscenes, which you can't skip. You maybe have to press like A once or twice, and you know I took those ones for a pee break, and you know it's not really interesting because you cannot skip it, but it's interesting to see those games that are kind of new, I would say, and still don't have the feature to just skip it all and just let you do whatever you want to do. Because like if you played the game once or twice, you still want to maybe skip the cutscene because you have seen it altogether. So what about boss fights? I've seen you guys doing some stuff, but it's also like, for example, Oboe has like a bar below his timer.
Yeah, so this is a mission I'm doing right now is called Girl Power. It's basically where you have to defend an orb from an army of enemies for a minute and a half.
So it's just like a timer that runs down. It's not like I don't know, a
Yeah,
boss health kind of thing.
it's kind of like it's like a survival.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah, I get what you mean. So you have to survive for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And keep your health up during that time, and so you not die, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are enemies trying to attack the orb, so if the orb loses all of its health, then you have to start over. Which is really fun when you're going for a world record. And you just lose a minute and a half.
So is the spawns that come in here in this kind of scenario, is this RNG or is it not?
The spawns are always the same for Girl Power. And for every stage, I believe.
The behavior of the enemies can be a bit RNG at times.
Yeah.
So it's only like how the enemies will do certain stuff, but it's not like you don't know where to go, so you're trying to go into the same place every single time, but you don't know how they will act.
Yeah, that's usually how that goes.
Generally, enemies are pretty consistent in their movement, but very rarely will be like, okay, why are you going to the left instead of the right like you usually do?
Yeah.
But like I said, that's pretty rare.
Do we have them for completion?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So we've got $10 from that is that's really it is reading. Can you crash Splatoon?
I don't think so.
Actually, not in Octo Expansion as far as I know, but I know you can. I've seen a video of someone crashing Hero Mode. It was like they died in a level 3 times and tried to exit the stage before it took them to a game over, and it crashed the game.
This is news to me.
Yeah,
It's really
Tones Ballones. There's a video of it on YouTube. At Tones Ballones. You can check it out. It's called Crashing Octavio. Yeah, he basically just went into the level of the final boss, died 3 times, and usually when you die 3 times in a level, you get a game over. But then he tried to exit the level before it gave him the game over screen, and it crashed the game. That's all I know of.
so the only possible crash that is that's interesting.
Yep. I don't know if there are any others. If there are, then I don't know. So.
You might be able to crash it through the multiplayer, but I'm sure if you could have, then they've probably patched it by now.
Yeah.
That is such a game like you must constantly watch over that.
Yeah, this game has been out for a while and it's gotten constant updates.
At least they're done with the updates now.
Yeah, they've been done with the updates for a little while now. But it's a pretty well-refined game at this point.
Speaking, like of updates and all that, was there anything that was useful, like in the context of Splatoon to speedruns or bingos that was patched?
I don't think anything has been changed through the single player. It's just been mainly the multiplayer.
Yeah.
Because I know the changes they made in multiplayer to the certain weapons and such have not carried over to hero mode.
Oh, right.
Yeah, or Octo expansion either.
There's another interesting question I have right now because you were talking about multiplayer. Can you play it on co-op, like in this mode at least, or do you have to do it by yourself? Like, can you say like you have like a co-op run where you can make things a little bit faster, or maybe not?
No, there's no co-op for these modes.
No, not.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, we usually call them the single player, and usually that means single player. I don't know.
So
if
it's
that
all
was...
by yourself all the time. Like if you play hero mode, you're going to be all by yourself, and you have to do all the stuff on the bingo board by yourself.
Yeah.
Do we maybe have some time for some announcements?
Of course.
Alright. So I want to talk about our good donation incentives here right now. We have some upcoming goals or bid wars that is in the future. First of all, we have the Binding of Isaac, Afterbirth Plus Minus. It is a seedless bonus run with SIL, SIL, I don't know how to pronounce this, and Megaplast as a start, which is still a $50 to go. What I also want to remind you that you can win all of the 5 prizes we have currently with a $10 donation. As well, we have a Paper Mario Choose the Bingo line for about $50. We have Paper Mario Crash the Game, which is currently at 10 out of $100. And a Wind Waker Randomizer Temporary Reverse Controls for 20 out of $50. So, also a short reminder, if you are going to donate, even if it's just $1, the next 4 donators are going to make it into my Worms Bingo team, which is going to happen around 2 p.m. my time, which is the German time, so it's like, I guess 8 a.m. US time, a little bit later on the Japanese time. So the next 4 donators, whoever that is, you're going to make it into my team. And you can donate $1, you can donate $10, you're going to make it into my team. And we're gonna prove it. I'm just gonna say that. Alright, hand it back to you, people.
Thank you. Alright, so we're starting to kind of put some squares in. Usually the beginning is really slow since we get into the game, but then we kind of start to pick up as we're now actually getting places and kind of figuring out our path. Usually around this time, it's good to kind of figure out what we're doing. Oh, it's weird. It usually it's really hard to find just what ways you want to go, because there could be a row with like a bunch of really good and easy stuff in it, and then there's just one really hard thing that makes the entire row not worth it. And so then we have to, okay, um, what's the next best thing? There's never usually what I like to call a perfect row. We usually just have to find something that, what's the fastest, obviously.
Okay, so what would you think is 100% easier than blackout bingo? Because you know what to do in which order in a 100% run, or would you say, okay, a blackout bingo may be a little bit faster because I can do this and that in a different order, or is it like it all comes down to the same thing?
Well, I'm sure doing blackout would be faster because 100% is doing everything. Blackout would definitely mean doing a lot, but it definitely wouldn't be doing everything.
So how much freedom would you have in the blackout? Yeah, you probably have to play a lot like you're doing right now. You're playing a lot of the single player game. But how would it affect it like a blackout? Do you have to do all that stuff, or can you just say, okay, I'm starting off a bingo save file kind of thing, and do all the missions I need to, and collect all the stuff I need to? Like, how is it for you? Do you have to start always on a new file, and what makes it different compared to 100%?
I think we always start from a new file.
Yeah.
No matter what type of bingo we're doing, I think we always start from a new file.
I don't think anyone's ever done a blackout for this game.
Yeah.
It just take way too long.
Yeah,
blackout I think is definitely longer than all missions, which is already 3 hours. So.
Yeah, I've never seen anyone do blackout before.
I mean, 3 hours is reasonable for like at least a blackout, I would say. We have seen OOG blackout before, and if you get screwed, you get absolutely fucking screwed.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I don't know. You guys up for like a blackout in general, or would you say, okay, I'd rather do 100% and know what to do, know which route to go? What would you guys prefer? Would you say like, hey man, okay, I like the randomness of a blackout bingo, or would you say, hey, okay,
I mean,
I like my route and I want to take it?
I mean, I'd probably do a blackout bingo. I'd probably be the one who would make the most sense to do it, because I do 100% a lot more times than I would like to admit. I do a lot of long categories in Splatoon 2.
You do all the long categories.
I do all the categories, including the extremely long ones.
What's the longest one?
Well, I'm glad you asked. The longest category in Splatoon 2 is 1100%, where you do 1000% in hero mode, which is do every single weapon with every single weapon, which takes about 12 hours long, and then you do 100% in Octo Expansion, which takes 6 hours. So in total, that is, I actually have the world record in this category, and my world record is about 19 hours long.
That is quite amazing. I think that you actually can stick to that and make it happen. Is really amazing. I know there are a lot of games which take some time for the 100% category. We all know of those, 30 plus hours speedruns, or like the 300 hours for like some RPGs.
Yeah.
But to actually have that in a shooting game, I would say.
Yeah, we have our own like Mario 602 speedrun or whatever.
That was amazing. Like, did you do it? Did you do that on purpose, or we're like, okay, I'm just going to do it for the purpose of it, and I'm going to stick with it, and you know, whatever. I'm just going to do it.
I did it for the world record, man.
Yeah, world record. As long as the category it is, it was actually just really free. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
The guy who had the world record before me, that was the first time anyone has ever attempted that kind of run, so it was really rusty. And so I just kind of studied it, and then I just did my own run. And then I decided to try, to just take 20 hours out of my schedule to do a run. And that was all the way back in like April of this year. And then I did it again in September, and that's where I got the current world record stands, 19 hours.
I guess it's still super tedious to do such a long run. I mean, every like 100% run takes a little bit of like dedication, I would say. But to do like a 20-hour plus run, where you basically have to do the same thing all over again, seems super tedious to me. So props to you for sticking with that and actually, trying to get it and trying to do it as fast as possible as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of repetition, especially in the hero mode category, because there's only I believe it's about 30 levels total, and you have to do each one 9 times. So there's a lot of repetition.
It's not fun.
Yeah, that's what I see with most games. I don't particularly run, I would say like long games, but when I try to route a Gundam game, which is Gundam versus Gundam for the PSP, and it also requires multiplayer to get all achievements. So I kind of estimated it before I tried to run it, and the estimate was about 650 hours with a partner that you need for all achievements, which has constantly to be online and to be with you. It is not fun. When it's just trying to go for story mode, it would be maybe I don't know, 30 hours or so. But if you're trying to 100% games like that, sometimes, or all achievements, that is, you sometimes have to go super out of your way and try to make it possible, maybe with friends and so. I have mad respect for you guys just trying to get the best time possible in a game that is also having its flaws when it comes to achievements or 100% kind of stuff, or 100% completion.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a flawless speedrun. I think that's also kind of, there's definitely some reasons why it's not as popular as many other games. But personally, it's just so enjoyable that I don't really mind. And that's usually what a lot of the more dedicated runners would say.
Just in general, this game is fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just from seeing the gameplay, I'll probably enjoy it if it wasn't on the Switch alone. I'll probably enjoy it more on the PC, because I'm not really a controller third-person shooter guy. But how are the controls for you? Do you mind that it's on a Switch? Or would you say, hey, if there would be a PC version or something like that, would you rather enjoy that, or would you still play it on the Switch? Not considering frame rates or anything, just from the gameplay perspective.
I don't know. I enjoy it on the Switch, because the Pro controller on the Switch is a great controller, and I can't really imagine playing this game with anything else, really.
Yeah, so the motion controls in this game, a lot of people would think are actually just terrible, but they work really well for what the game is.
Oh, that's another
Um,
thing, the motion controls.
Yeah.
I
Just
guess
like
that-
generally, it wouldn't feel the same with a mouse and keyboard. But I mean, aiming would probably be a bit nicer, even though motion controls, it does feel really good already.
that I guess that's a good thing. Imagine like playing this game on a Wii. I don't know, like the first Splatoon was on a Wii U, if I'm
That's correct.
remembering that
Yep.
correctly. That was a bit of, a letdown for me at least, because I hated the Wii U controller.
Hmm. Yeah, I will say.
Don't have a Switch, so I can compare those two. What's your opinion on that?
I mean, playing Splatoon 1, because I do have that as well, playing it on the gamepad, it's a little bulky because it is a big controller. I still use motion controls. I do find playing Splatoon 2 a lot better because, I mean, not only it's a more crisp game, but also, the controller is, a lot smaller than the gamepad, so it's a lot more comfortable. And the motion controls are a lot more precise and accurate. But I still enjoy playing Splatoon 1, even going back.
So, what would you guys prefer? Would it be like like using a Pro controller on the Switch, or like using the actual Switch controls, if you can say that, for
Lo-
this game at least?
Like
you
the-
mean the Joy-Cons?
Yeah, the Joy-Cons, or like I don't know, maybe a GameCube pad, or like a Pro controller for this game. What would you guys prefer on this
The
one?
Pro controller is definitely preferred. Like, it's honestly like probably my favorite controller that I've ever used. And funnily enough, you can use a GameCube controller for this, but you can't swim through your ink. And then there's like something else you can't do, just because the game controller doesn't have the buttons for it.
So you can play the game, but you cannot play it to the full, or like with all controls, I guess.
Yeah, you can do that with any Switch game as long as you have the GameCube controller adapter, but most of the games just you don't have all the functionalities available. So it really only makes sense to have a GameCube controller for your Smash.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Glad we have those back as well. I hope Nintendo makes those Pro controllers for all those like Switch players, Wii U players in the future. It is kind of a bummer that you sometimes need a specific controller for a specific game. At least on Nintendo consoles, because like every PC game you can play with a 360 controller, right? And it's not going to impact your gameplay that much when you have another controller, like a PS4 controller or anything. But when it comes to like Nintendo games, you probably want to have that controller that is designed for the console, I guess. Like for Melee, you wanna have the GameCube controller, or for Splatoon 2, you wanna have the Pro controller to have like the best possible controllers.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, when it comes to a lot of Switch games, you can usually choose, to play it with the Joy-Cons, or in handheld mode, or with the Pro controller. A lot of people would usually prefer the Pro controller, because it's just a lot better.
Alright. Yeah, a little bit of time for some, donation plug, I should say.
Yes, absolutely.
Alright. I think we have a $10 donation. I don't know if that has been read by anybody. But I want to talk about Pure Earth for just a little bit. Pollution and toxic contamination primarily affects women and children in developing countries. If you want to help solve this, please type in !donate in the chat, and a link will appear where you can donate to our marathon. And obviously, all money goes directly to Pure Earth. Also, a $10 donation by you. We have some amazing prizes. which is currently the Chibi Robo fan art made by Flicky Ferris, the bingo phone mug. You know, if you like to drink some tea or some coffee, you're gonna need that mug. I also provided 2 games for the Xbox in um, in the PAL version, which is Halo. You know, Master Chief Collection coming out. You want to play the OG Halo? You better get that right now. It's a minimum donation of $10, as well as Jet Set Radio Future for the Xbox PAL. It is indeed the standalone version. Comes with a handbook, comes with a cover, comes with a clean disc. Gotta tell you that this one is getting more and more rare. So if you have those $10 left, do something good. Maybe consider getting one of those prices. It's really tight right now. So now many people have donated $10 or more. You want to get it. Also, we have an original SNES controller in crisp mint condition. Hey, if you want to get that, $10 or more. Let's go for it. And I think we have a donation, but I have to look it up, so I give it back to you for the moment being. And maybe I'll be right back in a moment.
We do not have a donation, but absolutely, indeed, those surprises are good. Just keep in mind that the games are in, but I think that you included some notes about how you just find a way to play it in NTS.
Yes.
So even if you are not in our region, you still have potentially a chance to still play the game if you win it. If you're outside the region, because instructions will be provided on how to play with that.
Yes, that is right. So I will give you some instructions that come with the game as well. So we have a disc version of it. You can either sell it or, keep it for valuable reasons. But I also will have you some note. You can, do something to your Xbox to actually play the game and to actually have fun with other games as well. So if you happen to have an NTSC Xbox from US or from Japan maybe, okay, it's still worth it. You can still play the game at 60 frames per second. Hey man, that's an achievement for Xbox standards at least. 60 FPS. How about that?
That's not
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's be real. That wasn't the case for most of the games of this area. I played a lot of PS2 games that weren't running on 60 FPS. And it's a bummer. But I know for a fact those 2 games, Halo and Jet Set Radio Future, will run at 60 FPS on your NTSC console. I will give you the instructions to do so. So don't worry about the PAL. Get in some ching ching. Yeah.
Do it.
Wow. And just lastly, if I may, remember that because 1 hour from now we'll be having the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. That will be the next run, and for it, there is an incentive for a seeded bonus run with Dazzle and Mega Blast as a start, and that means $50. We're still sitting at 0, so there's still all of that to go, but it can be done. So yeah, just wanted to say that if you want to donate for this incentive, now next time.
Alright, back to you guys. We have some bingo incentives here right now while we talk. Explain yourself.
Wait, we have incentives or the?
I mean, you made some goals while we were talking. We were talking for quite some time.
Oh,
So
yes.
explain those things you might have been done
Sure.
while we were talking.
So I completed 2 boss fights. There's four total on the map. I completed there was a goal where I had to complete a certain level with a certain weapon. That was the exciting things I did. What about you, Mr. Boomerang?
Well, I completed a specific level with the bamboozler, which is a really fun weapon to use.
Oh god.
And I'm just going around beating levels with certain weapons. I'm trying not to let you know which weapons I'm going for. But I went for some certain weapons. Yeah, that's really about it. We actually have a lot of weapon-specific cards on this one.
So we have like a specific row or column that you both are going to aim for.
Yeah. But like when we get it, you'll see.
The suspense builds up.
You'll see.
I am getting really unlucky.
See, on my end, I really don't have many quote-unquote objectives to do, but they might take a while, because these are probably the hardest ones.
So those objectives would be the ones that take a while to do, and with the long term, would have to fun, would they?
Yeah, the more longer-term goals. Oh, come on.
So, if I may ask, what do you think, like in the context, run looking to be like the most vital skill
I believe just learning how to speedrun this game. Because there's a lot of really cool skips and tricks you could do. And also, when it comes to speedrunning Splatoon, it's really not usually about pulling off a lot of glitches or really precise tricks. It's usually execution and just kind of completing the levels in the normal way as fast as possible.
Yeah, it seems to be extremely movement based, with the ability to execute, well, as you said, execute those levels fully, which is a really different kind of skill set compared to many other types of speedrun. Like, for instance, you look at a game such as Ocarina of Time, for instance, where unless you play categories such as glitchless, it's a game that heavily relies on glitches, but so far from what we've seen here, it Splatoon 2 doesn't. In general, what would you say about glitches of this game, or any other thing in this, like whether it be the first Splatoon game or maybe else?
Honestly, in the eyes of the community, there's really no such thing as what we call glitches in Splatoon speedrunning. Really, we usually call them just like skips or tricks. There are a few times when we kind of like take advantage of like little quirks in the game mechanics, but there's never usually something that we go as far as calling it a glitch. I guess maybe depending on how you see a certain trick or skip, you may call it a glitch, but we never really call something a glitch.
Yeah, like right now I'm trying to attempt a little skip here, which isn't really a glitch, we're just more abusing the game mechanics.
There's never really a trick where we're trying to like get out of bounds and try to get to the exit from a completely unintended way. It's interesting. It's very different.
That's a pretty different perspective like on speedrunning, quite like compared to quite many other games. Because usually people associate speedrunning in like whichever sense of the word you may take it as, with glitches and breaking the game completely. So it's a change of pace, really.
Yeah, like the one big example I think we have of like one of our biggest skips is Octoshot skip in OE any percent, which is not really a glitch, but it feels like it because it's so RNG based. Basically, where there's this one target we have to hit, and the only way we can do that is by getting the Octoshot, except we decided to skip that and do this dumb bomb throw where we only have like a 10% chance of actually getting it. But it's more of a skip than a glitch, if anything.
We get a bomb to try to we get a bomb to try to activate a switch that normally an ink or usually like a gun would usually unlock. And usually to do that we throw a bomb on top of a wall so the splash radius would try to hit the switch so we could skip a section. But the problem is the bomb and its ink is RNG. So there's about a 10% chance that a little ink puddle will go and hit the teeny tiny switch to skip the section. So that's why it's really... It's been called one of the most regrettable tricks in speedrun. Because it usually can make or break a run.
Many world records have been lost to that.
Yeah, and only like world record pace runners go for it.
insane kind of. Especially like such a low chance. Definitely, really for those that go for world record, it quite the.
Yeah, because like you pretty much you're doing about an hour of skill-based stuff, and then you're just pretty much just thrown into a lottery. If you're gonna be on world record pace or not.
And then there's like, what, 10 more minutes of gameplay after that?
Yeah.
Which is all really hard.
Oh yeah.
So even if you manage to get it to the proper end game.
Yeah, you still gotta do more skill-based stuff afterwards, and it's probably arguably some of the hardest in the game. But honestly, if we're gonna be fair, it's not much compared to hero mode. Because hero mode is where the RNG is at. The entire final boss of that game is entirely RNG. And it varies by 2 minutes?
Yeah, 2 minutes, I'd say.
When you mean it varies for 2 minutes, that's when if you get bad RNG, you gotta wait 2 minutes before you can try again. The what you mean?
Not exactly. So how that boss fight works is, this boss basically throws these fists at you, and you have to hit them back. And there's 4 phases total, and you need to hit I believe it's 7. No, 8. 8 fists back to end the phase. And so all of Octavio, which is the final boss's name, all his actions are random. So it's completely random whether he decides to give you a fist or not. So, there's sometimes we could decide to give you, like, 4 in a row and, end the phase quickly, or he can give you a lot of attack. You can throw a lot of attacks at you that you don't need, which can make the phase longer. So that's what usually constitutes between good and bad RNG.
We have an entire separate category that just like excludes Octavio from the run entirely, called New Game Plus Octavioless. Just because we don't like him at all.
Yeah, that's why kind of the any percent and a lot of the categories can be really unforgivable, especially when you get really good at them.
Yeah, that would make sense because no one would screwed over by RNG.
Yeah.
Speaking of RNG, like how would, like, obviously not that specifically, overall RNG, even in the context of bingo, how much does that affect, for instance, the one you're having right now? Like, would you say RNG is a big factor so far?
Not at all, really. There is
No.
like one mission where it's just all RNG, which we also call bingo. Basically, we have to knock these 8 balls around, and it technically isn't RNG, but it's so precise to hit an 8 ball like where you want it to go that it's basically just RNG. But apart from that mission, there really isn't any RNG throughout the game, besides like weapon RNG and just where your shots land.
Yeah.
But it's nothing major RNG.
No, not like Mario Party.
The pain of wanting to speedrun a game like that.
Oh man. I don't even want to imagine.
Let's one day try to get into the mind that's a whole other level. That probably none of us can achieve.
Oh my goodness.
Are you freaking kidding me?
So considering there's around underestimate, like how would you say your current state on the bingo card is looking like?
I'd say it's average so far.
Super fast, but it's not super slow either.
Yeah, because considering it's a double bingo, looking at the biggest.
Yeah, you can almost kind of tell where exactly we're trying to go.
The lines start to connect. I just would like to take this quick moment to do a little on the binding of Isaac incentive that will be closed quite soon, considering the run will be around half an hour from now. It will be on the binding of Isaac. I can't talk anymore. The binding of Isaac after 3 plus, and it will be a seeded bonus run with Dazzle and Mega Blast at the start. So there's still time, but it's starting to close in. So let's see what happens. But that's be really interesting if it happens. So I'm really hoping that this goal will be.
Oh, I'm about to do the bingo level. It's
Aw.
bingoception.
Nice.
Please take forever.
So
Hopefully
as,
we'll take it nice because
yeah, as you can see, I basically have to make a three-way. I have to make like a bingo out of 3 8-balls. It's kind of like tic-tac-toe in a way. In fact, it's probably more like tic-tac-toe, if anything. Really? Please. Oh, so close. Come on. Oh. First try.
Really? Wow.
And when I say first try, I mean it didn't die. So, I mean, definitely not the fastest one has done it, but it could be.
Okay, I thought you meant like, oh, I just got it in the first 3 shots.
Oh, no.
That's lucky.
Yeah, that's lucky. No, I did not do that.
Could you feel that little pain in the voice? And really? That was hilarious.
Yeah, that level is probably like the infamously the most dreaded level in an all mission speedrun.
I also had that the fastest IL time for bingo for a while, but then IU took it from me.
That was stupid. What? Okay. Really? Oh, okay. That's not good. That's not okay. Alright, I think I'm getting pretty close to the end. I only got, I'd say, 2 levels left.
2? What? Okay. I really hope it's not 2.
Okay, I'm doing one right now, and then afterwards I have to find the last level, and I don't know where it's gonna be. I might have to... I may have to do some other levels to find it. So, not all hope is lost. Oh shoot, I am dead. There, perfect. Alright, that is 1 bingo down. Just got 1 more to go. Not GG yet.
Well, even 1 bingo is still a bingo, but you're not done. But still, GG
Yep.
for that 1 so far.
Yep. Okay. Where... Now I gotta find one of the... come on.
There really aren't that many brush levels.
You see, you know.
That's kind of what I'm doing right now.
Alright, I'll start right here. That's right, you're going for... Yeah, you're going for the same one. And you're doing blasters as well.
Yeah. I've got 1 more blaster level to do, but I figured I'd find that on the way. Because I don't know where anything is.
Yeah, I have to do a couple more levels. Because I just can't think of a brush level right now. I only need 1 more, too. Alright, come on. No, none of these have brushes. Oh, wait, does that? No, I don't think it does. Okay. I know there's one on this line. Oh, but I have to do this level. Oh, I actually made it. So close, yet so far away.
And that's one bingo for me.
Oh man, this is gonna be close, actually.
And we're going for the same one.
Oh, come on, no. Where is it? I know it's here. I will go across the entire line if I have to. Why? No, I did not hit that. Gosh dang it. Whew, okay. Please be the next one. No, come on! Where is I should have gone the other way. Dang it. At least these are short levels. Okay. Alright, I'm pretty sure it's after this level.
You said that like the past 3 levels.
I know! Okay, don't need to remind me.
Deception.
See, I'm just proving that I can just do a bunch of levels and still complete my goal. Because that's how talented I am. Totally.
There you go.
I'm just stalling. Here it is. Here's the level. Alright. Finally. Alright, so we're gonna come up on time for me really soon. It's gonna be when test complete appears on the screen.
Okay, like this, getting ready for time.
Oh, I think I'm just gonna make estimate.
Oh my god. I
Oh.
really hit that death plane. Okay.
Oh, come on. Come on. Hit the thing. Oh, there we go. Okay, and time.
GG.
Double bingo. Just under estimate. Let's go.
That is actually epic.
How you doing, Pink Boomerang? You think you got enough time to finish soon?
I don't think so. I've got like 3 more brush levels and I don't know where any are. I do not have my brush levels memorized. If you just want to tell me where like all of them are, that would be great.
Well, I don't know what your map looks like. Let's see.
You're not watching the stream? Come on, dude.
Oh, let me see.
Alright.
Well, I paused it so I could save some frames. Let's see. I guess a heavy brush level is E10 Crate Buster. There's 2 in there. It's at the
Oh, that's... Yeah, that's down here. Okay. I have to get two levels to do that, though.
But there's two there. There's Ride With Me. There's one brush. I know it's a very dreaded level, but it's a brush. And you probably got these, but there was two on DO7 Target Buster. I got one from Toastmaster Station, another dreaded level.
Wait, is Toastmaster the boss?
Yes.
Oh, that is a brush on it?
Yep. It's the hardest one though. There's also one on JO4 Footloose. Any percent level.
Yeah.
What else? And the last one I got that I searched for was the one on CO7 Totally 8-Ball Station. It's the timer one.
I think I've already gotten that one. And that's a really sad death.
See, so that's one.
So just to ask, how long do you estimate to finish? Because
Yeah, it's gonna be a while. We should probably just end it here. I mean,
yeah, if we can still play for like maybe, but if you feel you can't get it done within that time, then maybe and we can end it there because we're already a bit behind schedule already. So it's however you want. Like, what do you think?
nah, we're good to end it here, I think.
Okay, sounds good then.
Yeah.
Well, GG to you both. In any
Yeah.
case.
Yeah, GG.